What's up, everybody? Welcome to Everything But Net Sports Podcast, where since we suck at sports, we talk about them. My name's Jake. We got Tyler here.
Hello, I'm Tyler.
We're your hosts. Today, we're going to be talking a little bit about the NFL, their plan to return teams to facilities, the MLB, and just the absolute mess that they are in with the negotiations between the league and the Players Association. A lot has happened there over the past week. We're going to talk a little bit about the NHL. There's not a whole lot to report there. So let's
Not a whole lot to report in anywhere else.
Yeah,
either.
pretty much.
There's a lot of big news in NASCAR, but there's not a lot. So.
Yep. It's a lot of. We're going to be very, very NFL and MLB focused today.
No basketball like there was last week. Don't expect that to be a normal thing, like we said in last episode. We are literally everything but net.
Yeah, the only net we talk about is hockey net, and that's because they're on ice and it's cool.
Yeah, and they hit hard.
Really hard. So, first thing that we're going to talk about today is we're going to talk a little bit about the NFL. They've established their initial protocols for how teams are able to return to their facilities. All of this information is coming from PFT's Mike Florio. So, we got a lot. Bear with us. Going to kind of just go over the details, and then we'll talk about kind of our takes, what we think this means for the league, how they're going to go forward, and all of that. First point is it separates all of the employees into tiers 1 through 3, and it lists restricted areas within team facilities. So those restricted areas are things like the locker room, the practice fields, the playing fields, training rooms, weight rooms, meal rooms, anywhere where people are normally congregating, and where there can be large groups of people. Those are being considered the restricted areas. All of the employees are being separated into tiers. Tier 1 is all of your essential football personnel, so your players, coaches, trainers, doctors, anybody that deals with the players. And so the NFL's plan right now is to have a maximum of 60 of those tier 1 employees, players, coaches, and coaching staff allowed in those restricted areas at a time. Tier 2 is your non-playing. Sorry, go ahead.
This is kind of crazy. I'm reading it in the notes that we have, but just hearing you say it is so much already, and we haven't even scratched the surface of it really.
Yeah,
there's so much.
Yeah, we're just gonna blow through kind of the meat of what the actual legislature is, and then we'll talk a little more about what this means, how it's going to affect the game, and that sort of thing. So tier 2 is your non-playing personnel that are essential for the business side, your GM, owners, and owner representatives, your football operations employees, stuff like that. They are required to either maintain physical distance from those tier 1 employees or use personal protective equipment, and are a maximum of 20 allowed in restricted areas at a time. And then tier 3 is your essential facility, stadium, or event services employees, such as cleaning crews, field managers, and the like. And they are only allowed in restricted areas when tier 1 persons are not present. Again, trying to separate people as much as possible. The plan is to have separate entrances for tier 1 and 2 employees whenever possible. Automated or no-touch doorways whenever possible. There's going to be daily screenings for everybody with access to those restricted areas, which the questions,
and then they have to answer 5 questions.
The questions within that are ridiculous. And it's basically it's have you been in close contact with someone with a confirmed case of COVID? Are you experiencing any symptoms of COVID? Those are basically the 2 questions, but it's broken out very specifically.
it's probably the most rigorous form of like screening I've seen broken down, at least.
Yeah,
Like, I don't know how any other sports are going about it, but this is so
not just sports, man.
wow.
They're taking this so much further than I've seen a lot of like companies go.
But that's only because they have time to prepare for this. They're in the best spot.
Right.
Like, who knows what COVID's gonna look like when they
Right.
start playing football?
And that's another huge question, right? Is we still don't have a day for any of this to start.
No.
There's no
Like, it's kind of
timeline
just all
still.
it's there. Everything's there, but we don't know when it's starting.
Right.
It's,
And we don't have with the fact that there is no timeline, some of these restrictions and some of these guidelines may be obsolete or unnecessary by the time they start. And I mean,
which hopefully they will be, because
Yeah.
that means that COVID's going away. Do I think it will? I don't think so. There's gonna be spikes with everything happening, everyone being in close quarters with each other, and the potential of a second spike in the fall and winter time that's coming up.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know how it's gonna look.
Yeah. So the rest of their plan is basically keeping social distancing, making sure that there's as few people together as possible. Things like actual physical distancing for players and staff, limiting workouts to small groups, training staff using small and staggered appointment or individual and staggered appointments, appointments for and all other meetings. Any meetings are meant to still be done virtually if possible, and if not, then everything has to be arranged in a way to promote and allow for that physical separation of people.
This is so bad. I mean, Harbaugh said the regulations are super tight also, and I agree with him. Like, just reading it, I saw that there was a lot, but with you saying it and it actually like going into my brain, it's a whole different type of game, really.
Yeah, there's
Because
a lot. There's
these
a
are
lot to it.
wicked unrealistic.
There's a
It's
lot
super
to it.
unrealistic.
I think it's doable. I think that they're gonna have to, like, any position meetings are just gonna, you're gonna have to use your bigger conference rooms within the facilities way more frequently. I think is really what it's gonna come down to.
Yeah. But what also could help is them wanting to shorten the preseason to 2 games.
Right. Which
That could help in some ways.
I think it's a little
I don't
early.
hate it. I don't love it.
I think it's a little early to be talking about that. Preseason, we're still a month and a half to 2 months away, depending on when they decide to start. I mean, normally it's August is when they start, so we're still a ways away from that.
But I think it's good that it's on their mind though, because if it comes down to we do need to shorten this, everyone's expecting it.
Right. Yeah, I agree. The other thing that's a little weird about all of this is they have all of these regulations in place to protect from the spread of COVID, but they have no information or no real guidelines of what's going to happen
if someone comes down with COVID,
gets tested positive, or shows symptoms, or how travel's going to work. They have no plan beyond basically training camp, it looks like.
But then again, they have time to figure it out.
They do.
I think if you don't think they are already thinking about it, I think that's wrong. Yeah. I'm pretty sure they've already thought about this through and through. They just don't have a set plan already.
Right.
And they're trying to figure that out as best as possible to help everyone stay safe.
Yeah, I agree. I mean, last week we talked about kind of what their timeline looks like for what they're looking to do in terms of bringing people back in, and the fact that they're not going to be allowing or not expecting players to be on facilities until training camp. This kind of blows that away. Yeah. This whole plan kind of blows that expectation away, because they are now allowing or they have guidelines in place to allow for players and staff to be at facilities. And I mean, I
Yeah,
saw
and I
something
think
to
I think it's great.
yeah, I saw something today that the Lions are starting to get back, like the Lions coaching staff and are starting to get back to work. Um,
That's
I know
nice.
there are other teams that have done that. Again, we're both big Broncos fans. Bradley Chubb has been in facilities working on rehabbing his knee.
That's great. I'm pumped about that.
And he said it's weird. He said it's super quiet and it's really weird having, not having many people in the building with him.
I mean, when you go through all of high school, college, and the NFL for the first couple of years of your career, with everyone around surrounding you, helping you in any way that they can, and you're in there with maybe 2 or 3 people helping you,
Right.
that's 100% different than what you're expecting.
Right. Yeah, but I
I
mean,
would enjoy the quiet.
yeah, I don't know. I don't know if I would. I don't know if I wouldn't. Like I think that giving these guidelines and allowing, having the guidelines and having the restrictions available so that teams can actually start preparing for the season. I think that's a good thing. Yeah, they might be too tight and unrealistic, but if it lets you get back to work, I say go
Then
for
it's
it.
worth it in a sense. In a
Right.
sense, it's
Well,
worth
and
it.
it's at the very least it's worth trying to find ways to make it work. Because I
Yeah,
mean,
and you can always make it better too.
right.
Like,
Yeah, this is their initial plan. This is phase
yeah,
1. This is their phase 1.
yeah.
And
And
they
I'm glad that they're being proactive about it instead
yeah,
of being reactive.
I
It's
agree.
it's really good to see.
I would rather them be overly cautious in order to try and protect their players as opposed to come into a situation where they have an oh shit moment and have to react.
Yeah,
Like cuz that's what
which
happened.
I like seeing.
Yeah, cuz that's what happened with the NBA.
Mhm.
The NBA, when this whole thing started, they had a player test positive, and then his
And it spread.
whole team was
Yeah.
quarantined, and they were visitors at the stadium
Mhm.
the game before, so the whole team that was there the next day had to be quarantined. Like, and
That was
it just
crazy,
spiraled out of control.
especially over there.
I wish that that the NFL was able to put something in place in terms of what happens if someone tests positive, because I
But
think
that can
that's
come at a later time. Like they're probably still holding the plans out, like trying to figure all the hard knocks and like trying to expand on it as much as possible, kind of like what they did for this phase 1. That way
yeah.
we know what their plans are going to be through and through.
It can come at a later time, but
Not too later.
if you're having these daily screenings, you know, what's the point of having them if you have no plan past
Yeah.
that? That's kind of my
Yeah.
thing.
Which
Um,
it can't be too late, obviously, because they need to get it out there before everyone's back in there.
right.
But I think in not a long time, we'll see that come out, and it'll hopefully be as good as these are, even if they are unrealistic.
Yeah, because I think for right now this is mostly for coaching staff and people to get back in, and players coming back from injury, or players that want to come
Yeah.
in and do like a workout with their positional coach or something like that, where you can keep everything smaller. I mean, I know they've been doing virtual team meetings and that sort of thing. Um, for a while now. I mean, they had the draft. They haven't just left those rookies sitting. There's no way.
No, they've taught him the playbook. I've seen a bunch of things on like how Drew Lock's been in contact with a bunch of the rookies and
Yeah.
wideouts. He's just kind of going over the playbook with them, and they're making a lot of progress, it seems. But I don't know about any of the other teams though.
Yeah.
They're probably doing the same thing though.
I agree. Yeah, I agree. It seems, I don't know. It just seems like they're, because if someone tests positive right now who's in the building, what do they do about it? And that's kind of my only
Yeah.
thing.
Yeah, I think they're just trying to hope right now that that doesn't happen
Yeah.
because they're probably not too far into those plans yet, but
Yeah.
maybe they can surprise us and they are. Who
Yeah,
knows?
that's fair. At least they have a plan.
Yeah, unlike any other league, really.
Well, the
Other than
NHL,
NASCAR, they're kind of winning.
well, the NHL has, and the NBA both have their plans. The NHL,
Yeah,
the NHL and the NHLPA agreed on a July 10th start date for training camps.
that's
So
great.
that's
I'm
exciting. So
so happy about
that
that.
means hockey is going to be back
In less than a month.
most likely close to the end of July. Like
That is
games are going to
amazing.
be back most likely
Yeah,
close end of July, early August. And
I'm
that's
so happy about that.
very exciting. Do you remember
Yep.
our conversation about the hub cities and who we thought would be the best hub
Yes,
cities?
we thought it was gonna be Vegas and Ontario or
So I've
something like that.
heard Toronto.
Oh yeah.
I've heard that Vegas is all but confirmed as one of them.
Nice first prediction in the books.
I've heard that Vegas is all but confirmed as one of them. It is the most
But that
likely.
makes sense.
Yeah,
If you
absolutely.
didn't see that coming, like Vegas was open for casinos and people to go back,
And people to
and
go
they
punch each
had
other.
UFC and boxing events all going on over there.
Yeah.
Like, if you didn't think Vegas was going to be a hub city for the NHL, I don't know what you were thinking at all.
Well, also, I mean, the business that brings in, because if you're not gonna
Yeah,
have fans, or if you're gonna have
big money.
limited fans, having it in
Big money.
Vegas, yeah, having it in Vegas just increases your advertising, your gambling
Your
money. Like,
marketability.
it's
Yeah.
huge. It makes
Vegas
sense.
itself, the name is a market.
Right.
That's all it
Right.
is.
And so
Vegas is literally equaled to money.
yeah, exactly. It's just usually the money is going back to Vegas.
Yeah.
I also heard that it's questionable whether Canada is going to be one of them because
Why though?
the Canadian Prime Minister is not sure
About travel?
about travel.
Makes sense.
Yeah.
Makes sense.
Yeah, so that makes,
I mean, I would be too. Yeah.
I would be too. As a world leader, that totally makes sense.
But then where would the other hub city be on the east?
It would be one of the East Coast cities, and I don't remember
Florida?
what the list was. Let me double check that real quick.
I mean, I could see it being Florida. I don't know how the Carolinas are looking, but maybe one of those?
The Carolinas are also opening up relatively soon.
They are? Okay, so I mean,
so the East,
that they could be.
yeah. The East would be
It would be Florida for sure.
no, Florida's
At
not.
least Florida.
Florida's not on the list.
Florida's not even on the list?
Nope. So the East cities,
What?
the East cities are Toronto,
Yeah.
Pittsburgh, Columbus,
I don't know about Pittsburgh.
Chicago, Minneapolis, ain't gonna be there,
I don't think Chicago either.
and Dallas.
Dallas isn't so East Coast. That's more middle. But Dallas is open.
It is open.
So, I don't know. I'm surprised Florida's not on the list.
I'm not.
Why?
I mean, maybe having it in Tampa Bay. Well, because they already get the NBA.
Tampa Bay or Jacksonville?
Jacksonville doesn't have a hockey team.
They did. Used to.
Honestly,
but not anymore.
Honestly, I would not be surprised.
But they have an arena though.
I wouldn't
open.
I wouldn't be surprised if it ended up being Chicago, honestly.
Why? because I don't think they're doing any better than most other states are with COVID.
Yeah, you're right.
And I mean, Texas, yeah, they're opening, but they're also seeing the largest spikes they've seen since reopening.
Right.
So I don't even know about Texas. If they can like wrangle themselves in,
Yeah. But
maybe they can.
I mean, if we're
tame
talking
the numbers,
if we're talking COVID exposure, Toronto is not a good city for it either. Then, because Toronto was
okay,
one of the
I didn't
hardest
know. I didn't know Canada's. I didn't know Canada's situation either.
Toronto
and
was
them
Toronto
scared
is,
about travel actually helped that.
Toronto is. I think it's one of the hardest hit cities in Canada.
Wow. Okay. Dude, I don't.
Well, because it's
Maybe the Carolinas
the
then.
New York border.
Yeah, that makes sense. Okay. Then maybe the Carolinas.
Not
if they're
on the list.
reopening soon and they can wrangle. They're
on the
not?
list.
Oh my gosh.
Pittsburgh, Columbus,
Maybe they have
Chicago,
to think
Toronto,
about that.
and Minneapolis.
Columbus,
It's not going to be in Minneapolis. Guarantee it's not going to be in Minneapolis.
No, I think that was scratched off the list after the week after it was announced.
Yeah.
I think they should start considering Carolina if they haven't. One of the Carolinas, either or.
I don't know.
If they're reopening,
the other thing is the Hurricanes. The Canes, are they even in playoff contention?
Does it matter? It's an open arena. If they aren't,
that's true, but I kind of would think that you would want somewhere with some stake in the game. And the Canes are in playoff.
The Canes
contention.
are.
Oh.
I'm just saying, like, put them in Carolina, Vegas. It would work if Carolina's reopening and they can tame numbers. Because Vegas, I guess they're taming numbers pretty well compared to like Texas. But you know what else isn't tamed at all? The whole MLB. I love it.
Yeah,
it's
that
great,
whole situation,
but so sad.
That whole situation is such a mess. It's insane.
It's so bad. It's so bad. What did I say to you over text? I said I described.
Your description of it was it's a. Let me find the exact quote.
Yeah, you need to say it how it was worded because it was kind of great.
It was kind of perfect.
I don't know how I came up with it.
So it was
on the top of my mind.
Your exact quote. The MLB right now is that one annoying high school couple who are on and off but make their relationship public to the school to feel some form of popularity.
Yes.
That's too perfect.
That is the description of the MLB right now and the drama it's having with its players. It's the whole MLB ownership and its players in an awful on and off relationship with each other, proposing different things to get back together, and it's not working. But that's the only news keeping them relevant in the sports world right now.
And it all started when the MLB proposed their 76-game season. And when I saw that headline, I was like, holy shit, they did it. Like, that's it. That's perfect.
I didn't only because the next line said 75% prorated salaries.
That's what I said.
I went, no.
That's why I said when I saw the headline. I saw the headline.
The headline for me in ESPN had 75% prorated salaries in it, and I went,
Yeah. When all I got was MLB proposes 76-game season, and I went, oh my gosh, no way. Like, that's perfect. And then I saw the 75%.
Dude, every headline with the MLB in it for me, I've looked at it and it went, not again.
Over the last week, I've said so many times baseball's not happening this year.
Yeah, the amount of texts I've gotten from you. The amount of texts I've gotten from you the past 2 weeks saying we're not having baseball this year is like,
and I
think we're at 30.
We still might not, honestly.
We still might not.
And it's ridiculous.
This is so bad.
But
the original proposal was 76-game season, 75% prorated salaries, and what else?
Oh gosh, I don't even really want to go through every individual proposal.
I don't either because there's 3 more proposals we have to go through.
So
if we do that.
so let's just not.
Yeah, no.
So that one.
We'll
that
go to
one,
the latest one.
Well, the other issue with that 76 game one that the players didn't like was that players had to sign an acknowledgement of risk waiver, and it's like, are you kidding me?
Yeah.
That means from the player standpoint, that was the MLB saying, we're not gonna do anything to make it safe for you. You know what you're getting yourself into.
Yep.
And that's
just not good.
That's just bad. And I loved this quote that I saw, and it was, players received the offer with a mixture of laughter, anger, and more anger.
Yeah.
And it's like, I mean, the MLB keeps trying to cut their salaries. And I actually had a discussion with my roommate today about, this is being spun kind of in a way that the MLB is like, we just want to play games, and the players are like, no money. But the players are acting like any employee would in this sort of situation.
It's perfectly fine in my mind. I love what the players are doing.
They're acting like any employee would, because of the fact that if you sign a contract and your contract states you're going to make this much money for working this much, right? Say, I mean, I'm just going to pull numbers, right? Say you're getting paid, $100 a week if you work 20 hours, right?
Yeah.
That's, I mean, unrealistic, because that's
super unrealistic, but it's numbers that you just pulled.
Under minimum wage, but if you work 10 hours, you expect to make $50.
Yeah.
That's how it is. Work half the time, make half the money. Cool. Makes sense. That being said, if you're promised, $200 to work to play 20 games, and you're like, okay, well, I really, really need to at least 15 hours, right? I really need to make I really need to make that $150. And your boss comes to you and says, I only want you to work 10 hours. It's like, but how am I supposed, I need to
eat. I need to feed my family.
I need to pay mortgage,
Yeah.
Like, it's like, figure it out.
Yeah.
Or you can
work.
Or you can work more hours. That's fine, but we're not going to pay you as much.
Yeah, it's why even work then?
Any employees would be reacting the same way.
The only reason that this is working the way it is that it's the players versus the corporation.
Right.
Not like a chain, like their team or something. They're not taking it to their team. They're taking it to the head of MLB itself.
Yep. Because, I mean, that's where it's all coming from. It's the league versus the Players Association. Yep. So after the 76...
is a war that will be remembered.
And the worst part about it is, after next year's season, the CBA comes out. And if they can't agree on how one season is going to get done, how in the world are they going to agree on 10?
No clue. I don't see how any of this is going to work.
That's concerning.
This is a train off rails.
So after the 76...
It's just sliding on ice.
Yeah, it's not good. After the 76 game proposal by the MLB, the PA proposed an 89-game season, full prorated salaries, expanded playoffs, and opt-out rights for all players.
I don't know how I feel about this. I have mixed reviews about this.
With a playoff pool of money to be determined by gate, by gate.
Yeah.
Runners. If we're making money, you give us more money, because duh.
Yeah.
If we're not making money,
I have very odd opinions on this. I like the 89 games, more baseball, hooray. I like the opt-out rights, because that's what should happen.
Right.
If the players don't feel comfortable, you don't play.
Right. And
you
will
probably
not get
don't
paid.
make any money either.
Yeah, unless for, those high-risk players where, like, you get COVID, you die type thing.
Yeah, they're probably going to get paid. What I'm not a big fan about is the actual schedule, I feel like, in terms of the expanded playoffs in both 2020 and 2021.
I'm confused.
I feel like 2021... Yeah, I don't know why they're doing 2021. It makes sense with 2020 because it's just kind of messed up right now.
Right.
But 2021, I feel like shouldn't even need to be talked about
Not yet.
because you're going through CBA, which is like all this offseason.
No, next.
So
After the 2021 season.
Yeah. Okay. Well, still, like, why do you even need to focus on the 2021 season?
Yeah,
and its playoffs.
I don't understand
if you
why.
haven't even started the regular season in 2020.
Yeah, I completely agree. I don't understand why they're talking about that.
Like, I don't think it needed to be in the proposal.
I also don't understand. Like, so I don't know why they wanted to continue through October, and I don't understand why the league wants to be done with games by September 17th, because
I don't either.
That was their biggest, or that's one of the huge sticking points, and like the two sides have very, very specific sticking points. Players want pay for time, which makes sense.
Yep.
And they want money. And the league, for some reason, wants the regular season, to be done by September 17th, and I don't know why.
Is that like the last day baseball was supposed to be played on?
Playoffs begin in October. Beginning of October.
That makes no sense. I want to know why they have these numbers.
I don't know. Because playoffs, I mean, that is October. October is baseball playoffs, and it starts with the wild card games that first week in October, ends with the World Series that last week in October, or whatever. I don't get why.
I don't know.
Or
it's all crazy.
Or the week before the last week of October, whenever the schedule works out.
But in the middle of all of this mess of nonsense, we have the draft for the MLB. I don't know what they're drafting for, because we might not have baseball for the next few years. But, I mean, the draft happened. I didn't watch any of it. Didn't pay attention to it.
Me neither. I mean, the MLB draft, it doesn't... To me, it doesn't matter as much as the NFL draft. The NFL draft, it's you got your kids coming out of college, and they go college to
studs
game.
Yeah.
The MLB, you can get drafted and not play for that team.
Right on to like a AA team.
Go into a AA team, even a AAA team. You can come up to the the pros, or you can
And that's for like first round picks.
Or
if you have a stacked team.
Yeah. Or you can go to college if you're drafted out of high school.
Yeah.
Or you can.
Which I don't understand why you would, but.
Or you can go play football if you're Russell Wilson or Tom Brady or John Elway or.
Yeah, any of those guys.
Countless other NFL players. The MLB draft to me just does not feel like as big of a deal as the NFL draft. And I mean the NHL.
Same with hockey. Same with hockey to me personally.
The same thing.
And only because farm teams are a thing.
Because farm teams
are a thing. And I don't think you need a draft if you have farm teams. That's a whole different conversation.
It's two, maybe threefold. It's the farm teams exist. So that obviously will change how players develop.
Yeah. And how they can get in the leagues.
The middle of the season.
Yeah. Why do they do that?
And
that makes zero sense.
Baseball should have started a month ago.
Yeah.
So
the NHL also has their draft in the middle of the season, I think.
Yep, they do. And
why?
these players, even though they get drafted, aren't necessarily gonna go play for that team right away.
Right away. Yeah.
If ever.
Yeah, that's true, because then they could just go back to a farm team. I feel like there should be a much easier way to, a much easier pathway to go from, this level to next level to the next level.
Yeah.
Well, I don't think a draft needs to be in place for leagues with farm teams.
Yeah, it's strange. I mean, it makes sense because that's how you make, that's how you, quote unquote, stabilize talent. Making sure that not everybody gets all of the talent and whatever.
It's weird.
Yeah. Anyway, so yeah.
You know what else is weird?
Happened.
Manfred promises baseball in 2020.
Yeah, good luck with that.
Doesn't look like it. It doesn't.
Because then...
I don't know how.
Because then, the MLB owners proposed a 72-game season with 70%...
literally right after this.
With 70% prorated salaries. Going from July 14th to July 27th. Which, by the way, that 70% is lower than the 75 that they
You
promised.
you said July 27th, not September 27th.
Sorry, July 14th
said,
through September
yeah.
27th.
Yeah.
That 70%.
With the 21-day spring training, which I haven't seen pop up in any other proposals.
Yeah. The right to opt out, thank God.
Especially with high-risk players being paid. I like that.
Expanded
this
playoffs.
is a step in the right direction, I feel like.
Expanded playoffs, expanded rosters, a playoff prize pool for all the players.
Roster expansions.
The roster expansions. So this offer has a lot of good in it.
A lot of good in it, a lot of promise in it.
However,
it's still very far from what the players want.
The players are still very unhappy. For example,
Yeah.
Trevor Bauer went onto Twitter and said, just so y'all know,
a lot of players went on Twitter.
70% of prorated salaries at 72 games is the exact same as, wait for it, full prorated salary at 48. Nothing to say here.
Yeah.
Same exact offer in different clothing, just a reallocation of risk.
Yep.
So what he's saying there,
my favorite is Andrew McCutchen. He just tweeted out "lol,"
and then a reporter or someone else on Twitter said, "Can you be more specific?" And his response,
laugh out loud,
just laugh out loud, explaining what lol meant.
I love it. It's so great.
Such a savage. So funny.
I think I liked that on Twitter. It was kind of great.
So funny. McCutchen is fantastic on social media.
Yeah.
If you're a baseball fan and just want somebody to follow, Andrew McCutchen is gold. Gold on social media. He kills the game.
Especially on Twitter.
Yep.
Love it on Twitter.
Yep. And that was then not accepted by the MLBPA.
Surprise. I'm not.
After that offer came through and the PA denied it, that's when things got bad between the two sides. Bad.
If it wasn't already.
Well, that's when things got
worse.
When things got toxic.
Yeah.
Because the MLB said
mostly because of the social media reaction.
Yeah. But the MLB, after that offer was rejected by the PA, the MLB comes out and sends a letter to the players telling them that they were never entitled to payment during a pandemic. Are you kidding me?
That's so great. That's so great. Imagine the people you work for, the corporation, the company that you are employed for was like, we didn't need to pay you this pandemic, by the way. It's not in your contracts.
No, we don't have to pay you. It's like, if you expect me to work, yeah, you do. And that's,
oh man,
that's like, I can't believe that the higher ups of the MLB thought that was a good idea.
I think that they were just angry, maybe fueled by emotion, said it out of spite. After seeing the social media reactions, like Andrew McCutchen,
it might have been,
and then was like, "Ooh,"
It might have been very reactionary, but that's not the way to
how a corporation should react.
That's not the way to go about it. It's just so bad. And then after that, the MLBPA ended talks with the league, said further dialogue is futile. We want to get back to work. Tell us when and where.
Yep. And it looks like if that happens, it's going to be a 48-game season.
Yeah.
And social media reactions by the players were also very fun to read, but I
honestly
angry.
would not be surprised if. So this season is, we talked last week about the NHL having an asterisk to it. The Stanley Cup having an asterisk to it. This MLB season is not going to even count.
No, it's just not going to exist. And what I think was actually kind of interesting because I watched the Pat McAfee show when the first proposal came out,
Shout out
because
to
it
Pat
happened like
McAfee.
around the time he was live.
Shout out to Pat
The
McAfee.
GOAT for the brand.
That guy is electric.
He's so great. But I was watching his podcast, and it was like live as the first proposal came out Monday, I think it was. And so I was like, okay, this is going to be a great time to go see what he's reacting about. And apparently it's not in their contract to strike. So they cannot strike the MLB. And then they were going through what could happen if the players wanted to go on a so-called strike, quote unquote. And they said it would have to be an on-field strike in the middle of a game where they just don't play. The first inning is 4 hours. Nothing's done. It just goes on. And I'm loving your reaction to this because I heard that and I'm like, what is happening?
Oh my gosh.
Dude, imagine you go on the field. Baseball's back. The first games are starting up. No pitches are thrown.
First pitches thrown. National anthem sung.
Everyone's happy. Everyone's tuning in. Maybe.
Yeah.
And nothing happens. The first full game played pitch isn't thrown. The bat is never swung. The batter doesn't step in the box. The pitcher doesn't go on the mound. Players are sitting on the bases. Like, they wouldn't play.
That's... wow. That would
crazy. Because
be
in their
nuts.
contracts, because if you strike, in their contracts, it says that you can be fired from the league.
So, okay.
If you strike.
There is another way that this could happen then. Because that would
I think an on-field strike would be glorious.
That would be amazing.
Like, imagine.
That would be amazing.
Everyone would tune in. I would tune in a heartbeat.
That would be amazing.
If I saw, like, on-field protests. Or, not protests.
Strike against the
word?
league.
Strike, yes.
That would be amazing.
Strike.
And, that would be all-inclusive.
But I would love it.
What if? Because, it says if you strike, then you can be fired from the league. What if Mike Trout, Bryce Harper, Aaron Judge, Gary Sanchez, Giancarlo Stanton, Nolan Arenado.
Three Yankees players in a row.
Nolan Arenado. Like, what if you just had the big names all say,
not
fine,
play.
I'm going to go play over here then. Fire me. Do it.
I don't know. I think that would be a lot harder than an on-field strike. A lot more lines and paths to cross. But I think TV ratings could potentially go through the roofs if there were an on-field strike in any of the starting games.
I don't know, man. That would be wild.
I would watch every single game that day to make sure that everyone's striking. I would see the occasional one pitch for a ball. Maybe they're intentionally walking. Throws it down almost halfway down the first base line. I would love it. Just throws a ball into the dugout, yeets a bat.
Or the other thing you can do. Ready? Literally.
What?
Literally strike. Every pitch thrown.
Yeah.
Every pitch thrown
just
is swung at and missed.
I don't know. I feel like those guys are so like. Yeah, just taken. I feel like.
And
he's just standing there with a bat like planted in the ground.
You just have
strike.
27, 28 innings of 3 up, 3 down strikeouts.
That's so funny. Dude, I would hate to umpire any of these games.
Oh my gosh. They'd still get paid.
Oh, they'd get paid, dude.
They'd show up.
They're probably sitting back going, I just want games.
The umps, because I'm pretty sure umps get paid by the hour.
Yeah.
No, they get paid by the
man.
Game. They get paid by the game.
Do they?
Yeah.
Okay.
They get paid by game.
But they've got to probably be paid extra for extra innings.
Doubt it.
Really? I don't know.
Let's look it
I
up.
think an on-field strike would be
find out.
glorious. Yeah, you find that out. Going back to when you said 3 Yankees players' names in a row, the federal judge orders letter to unsealed. Wait, what did I just read? Like,
Yeah.
I just can't read.
Try
I
again.
guess
Try again.
because I said that completely wrong, unless it's just worded wrong. Federal judge orders letter unsealed that could what? Dude, what am I saying?
All right, I got
Am
this.
I saying that right? Okay, save me.
So there was a federal judge that ordered a letter to be unsealed that could link the Yankees to a sign stealing scandal.
Did you read into it though? Like at all?
A little bit.
Because I know you're not a Yankees fan.
No.
So I needed to read into it because I'm a Yankees fan. And I was like, whoa, 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 whoa. Big guns are coming out at us now. And they actually said in the article that it wasn't sign stealing.
Okay.
It was a misuse conduct of a dugout telephone. They thought it would be to steal signs, but it turns out it wasn't to steal signs. It was just a misuse conduct of a dugout telephone.
Interesting.
So all these Astros players are coming at the Yankees on social media, right? And they're all like, "Oh yeah, we got him now. Oh, look at them bashing us for sign stealing. You did it yourselves." They look stupid. They're like absolutely stupid.
Yep.
Because it was a misused conduct of a dugout telephone. Not in order to steal signs. And I think that's kind of funny.
Umpires are salaried.
Umpires are salaried?
Yep. Same
for
way,
like a year?
Same
Dang.
way, yeah, same way that a player would be.
Dang. I don't think any of this has any implications with them, though.
No, it doesn't. Well,
they're probably
actually,
getting paid regardless.
Actually, if they...
But dude, that could throw a wrench into everything, too.
If they
Imagine if they're getting cut
if they
and they strike.
That would be nuts.
That would be crazy. Oh, man.
Yeah, so the MLB is just kind of...
I would love that. I would love that. The MLB is just a mess.
Pretty much.
But a funny mess.
It's a glorious
It's kind of great. It's also the only thing keeping them relevant right now.
It's also the only really big sports news.
Yeah. Other than that, it's like NASCAR, a couple fighting stuff for the UFC and like boxing.
Yeah, let's go through...
Because Top Rank Boxing came back.
Yeah, let's go through some headlines real quick.
Okay.
So we'll shift gears back to the NFL a little bit. Dalvin Cook could hold out this season without a reasonable extension. That
hurts his fantasy stock, and I'm mad about that.
You're mad about that. I'm the one that has him.
Yeah, well, in our family league, yeah, but you're not gonna keep him.
Yeah, that's true.
No way you're gonna keep him.
No.
You have so many other players. Don't you have Deshaun Watson?
Saquon and Deshaun Watson, yeah.
You have Saquon.
And
Watson. Dude, your team is good.
Yeah.
You still lost though.
Yeah. We don't talk about that.
Nice job.
Hey, if y'all want a fantasy football podcast, let us know. That's something we could do.
We could talk about that for quite literally days upon days.
Yep. So Dalvin Cook could hold out unless he gets a reasonable extension. He's in the final year of his rookie deal. He hopes to match or exceed David Johnson's contract with the Texans. So we'll see what happens with that. Jurrell Casey is not happy with the Titans, how they treated him after his trade to Denver, which, thrilled to have Jurrell Casey in Denver.
Yeah, it's kind of great. But you know who Denver's playing week 1?
The Tennessee Titans.
Yep.
Yep.
Jurrell Casey's probably circled that multiple times.
Yep. So he is not happy with the fact that he feels disrespected and he feels like he was thrown away after he was traded for a 7th round pick.
Rightfully so.
Kind of agree with him.
Yeah.
Todd Gurley,
you're a top player thrown away for a last round pick.
Right.
I'd be mad.
Todd Gurley passed his physical for the Falcons, so he's good to go.
Congratulations. Yay.
Von Miller wrote an op-ed for Time magazine on his experiences with racism throughout his life and what the Black Lives Matter movement means to him. I'm not going to go into any detail on this. I did read the article. It is a wonderful, wonderful piece. If you just, Google Von Miller Time magazine, it's great. very, very well spoken, as Vaughn always is. And had a lot.
Yeah,
had a
I'm
lot,
letting you take the reins on that because I didn't
yeah,
read
had a
that.
lot of eye-opening things to say. The Browns and Myles Garrett are working on a mega deal to make him one of the highest-paid pass rushers in NFL history. Yes, that Myles Garrett, the one that decided to doink Mason Rudolph on the head with his own helmet.
Yeah, bonk.
Um,
Love it.
they're now going to make him one of the highest-paid pass rushers in NFL history. Way to go, Browns. Bill O'Brien plans to kneel with his players during the national anthem. And then
Good.
somebody on Twitter came out and said, "You're never going to see JJ Watt kneeling." And JJ Watt fired back saying, one, don't speak for me. Two,
love it.
One,
love it.
Don't speak for me. Two, if you don't understand what's happening, you haven't been paying attention. He clapped back.
Somebody else commented on Baker Mayfield's Instagram, I think it was.
Yep. Saying you better
I don't remember what it was.
He said to Baker, he said, "You better not be kneeling." And Baker's response is, "You're damn right I will
Pull your head out.
Yep.
Pull your head out.
And
it was great.
Like, Baker, that's expected. Baker has, he has that attitude. JJ clapping back at somebody,
that was great.
See that.
I couldn't like that on Twitter enough times.
Yeah. So, also, kind of on the same vein, the NFL league offices are planning on closing June 19th, in observation of Juneteenth, which is the day that slavery was ended in the United States.
Yep.
Again, the NFL
majority in Tulsa, Oklahoma, though.
Yep.
For all those history buffs out there.
Again, the NFL continues to make steps in the right direction.
And I think that's amazing.
Yeah,
it's great.
They're doing what they need to be doing right now. Listening to their players. I mean, so many organizations have come out with statements saying, we're listening to our players, and we are going to be part of the change, and that's exactly what needs to be happening.
It's great to see the NFL finally start listening to what is actually going on.
Absolutely,
instead
especially
of
within their
brushing
players.
It off as something else.
Especially from their players, because without their players, the game doesn't happen. The NFL is one.
Look at the MLB.
Well, and the NFL is one of the ones where the players have the most power.
Oh yeah.
And then
it's really cool to see that.
Tom Brady today put Deion Sanders' son through a workout down in Florida.
That's kind of cool.
Yeah, so he was working with Deion's son. Apparently, Deion's son is working as a quarterback. So Brady put him through a workout and was giving him some tips and trying to help him out.
That's really cool.
Yeah. You want to take the MLB?
And Terrell Owens also called out systematic racism within the 49ers.
Yeah. Oh, that's right. He did do that. Yeah, he said that he experienced racism firsthand from the 49ers owner and some of their staff while he was there. It's part of why he left when he did. And that's crazy. That's not what you like to see. Especially when Kyle Shanahan was one of the first coaches to come out saying, how he was going to be part of the solution, and to find out that, or to hear that, that hasn't been the 49ers culture, because Tia wasn't there that long ago. That wasn't that long ago.
No.
So that's unfortunate.
And kind of shifting gears over to NASCAR, because they're doing the right things over there as well. It finally came out with the strong redneck kind of southern ties. They prohibit the Confederate flag from fans at the races. You love to see it.
You love to see it. Also, real surprised that
I'm not
that it took
with
this
the
long.
way NASCAR's. Oh, I'm surprised that it took this long. Yes. But they had some time frames where they would offer the removal for the Confederate flag from fans in order for a different flag, but it wasn't forced in a way that this is, and I love to see it. I love it. And they also removed the rule stating in which everyone has to stand for the national anthem in support for the protesters.
Good.
I love it.
Love to see.
NASCAR is doing everything right. They've done everything right through COVID. They're doing everything right through the Black Lives Matter movement. It's amazing to see it. Love it, love it, love it.
You know who's not
That's
doing
about
things,
all.
You know who's not doing things right?
The CrossFit
The
CEO?
CEO of CrossFit. Dude is a moron. In a time
He's not smart.
In a time where everything is so politically charged, just shut up. Stop talking. Don't talk. Don't talk. Easiest thing. Shut up.
Mm-hmm.
He made some very inconsiderate and inappropriate comments on a Zoom call and on Twitter. That
I think I saw those.
Yeah, that were not well received by anybody because they shouldn't be, because
nope.
That shit has to go. And
he took some fire.
Fire. It went from like Monday when everything came out to Wednesday he had stepped down as the CEO.
I mean, he got crucified in a sense.
He
fire.
Really did. He really did.
Yeah.
They lost sponsorships and they lost gym partnerships. Just so many, and the biggest one being Reebok. They lost their Reebok partnership. Reebok was the first one.
That's a yikes.
Reebok came out as soon as that was released and said, we are not doing business with these people.
Good for them. Good for them.
And that sponsorship, that partnership between CrossFit and Reebok was massive. Huge money in there. And they just went, no, not happening. So
that's crazy.
He did it dumb.
Yeah, also, NASCAR driver in the truck series and team owner, Ray Ciccarelli, after the comments came out about the Confederate flag, sorry, I just remembered this, he said that he was retiring and selling his team after the 2020 season. And Twitter took that as a meme.
Is this the guy?
Ran with it.
Is this the guy that never won a race?
Dude, he only started in, I think, 18 races since 2018.
Yeah.
It's
my favorite comment on that. I saw that. My favorite comment on that was, this is a guy that hasn't finished higher than like 28th ever. And the comment was, so obviously he's never been good at anything race related. And I was just like, no.
Yeah. But personally, me being the motorhead that I am, hearing that he's selling his team, that's 2 trucks. I'm 100% looking for that price tag after the season. I'm scoping that thing out. I want to know what 1 truck costs, because I'd be down to get it.
So
talking about money though, Florida signs a nil bill. It's name, image, and likeness, right?
Yep.
I think that's what it is.
Yep.
Yeah, that bill to allow college athletes to be paid through endorsements next summer.
Yep. Which
good.
That's good. It'll be interesting to see how the NCAA reacts, because they still have final word.
Yeah,
because
NCAA is
just because it's legal in the state, the NCAA can still say, okay, yeah, that's fine. You're suspended.
Yeah. I don't know.
Play. So we'll see. Yeah. We'll see how that comes. I mean, the NCAA was already doing work on allowing that anyways. I don't remember the start date.
But I think they're just going to elongate it so people can't get paid, honestly.
Well, no, because they signed... they signed it and said, yeah, you guys can get paid for your image and likeness. I just don't remember when that goes into effect. Because it's probably
next summer then.
It wasn't immediate. It might be next summer.
Yeah, no, it's probably next summer.
Yeah.
That would make sense for Florida to do that.
Talking about money, let's jump right back into the MLB for a sec. Diamondbacks
because who doesn't love that?
Yeah. Diamondbacks owner Ken Kendrick is pushing for a salary cap, which, thank God, the MLB has needed a salary cap for years.
Oh yeah, it's how dynasties like the Yankees
And the
have
Dodgers
lived on for as long as they have.
Yankees,
And the
Dodgers,
yeah.
the Red Sox coming up and just
Red
staying
Sox
good.
minor. Yeah, minor.
Recently, they're a 21st century
recently.
dynasty.
Yep.
It's yeah. Thank God.
Also going to the Red Sox.
Ken Kendricks, you got my support, buddy.
Oh, easily, yeah.
Speaking of the Red
Sox,
and I think
F1's doing that too.
That's good.
But
speaking of the
going
Red
to the
Sox,
Red Sox.
So Torrey Hunter, who is a former player, came out and spoke out against not the Red Sox organization, but the Red Sox,
but the city of Boston
fans and the city of Boston, saying that whenever he was there, he experienced racist taunts. Not just once or twice, every time he was there, and consistently throughout the game.
Oh yeah,
and the Red Sox addressed this, and this is why Torrey Hunter, in all of his contracts, had a no trade clause to Boston.
I love that.
In every single one.
I didn't know you could do that in a contract.
In every single one of his contracts, he had a no trade to Boston clause, so that he would never play in. He would never play in Boston.
I love that.
So the Red Sox came out and addressed those comments, and really in a very, very mature and like acknowledging what he went through in a way that really acknowledged that, and took what he said to heart. The Red Sox came out and say, yeah, that happens. We are aware, people have made reports about that. Both our opposing players and their own staff, like the cleaning staff and janitorial staff and people that work at the stadium. The Red Sox are like, for anybody that's saying that it didn't happen because you didn't experience it, trust us, it happens. Any incidents that are reported,
I think them saying that they realize it's happening and like owning up to yes it happens is really nice to see from a team like that.
Absolutely. And anytime that an incident was reported, they would act on it. But I think that a lot of what has come out recently, I think that that's going to kind of make it so that teams are more cognizant about what's going on in their stadiums, just in general. And I think the Red Sox handled that really well. And I mean,
I agree.
Torrey Hunter in the letter that he penned, or in all of the statements that he made, he always said, I had nothing against the team, nothing against the players, nothing against the organization. I couldn't stand the fans. It was the atmosphere in the stadium. I can't either. Well, yeah, that's a different
being a Yankees fan, that's a different thing.
Yeah.
But
so I think that the Red Sox handled that so well.
Yeah, and I take my hats off to them.
Yeah.
For this, anything else, no, because Yankees fan.
Yep.
I'm petty.
Yeah. And then Alex Cora said that he will not shoulder most of the blame for the Astros sign stealing scheme. Said it wasn't a two-man show. Said it was within the organization. It happened from everywhere. I think that Cora needs to stop talking, and I think he needs to be out of baseball.
Oh, yeah.
He's not helping his case at all.
Not helping anybody's case.
Anybody at all.
And then he was like the most outspoken one for when the Yankees sign stealing thing came out, and that's just not true. And he just looks like an idiot.
Yeah.
So
no, Cora,
good job, Alex Cora.
Cora needs to stop talking. And then the MLB landed a broadcast deal worth about $1 billion with Turner Sports, which includes one league championship series. They already have a deal with Fox Sports for the other championship series. Again, this is all assuming baseball happens, which, who knows?
I don't think it will. I don't think it will. And if it does, they're going to strike on field.
Yep.
And it'll be great to watch.
Yep. And then last night was UFC Fight Night Saskatoon, where we had some fights happening. There was women's flyweight fight.
I didn't watch it.
I didn't watch it either.
I didn't watch any.
Let's just skip to the main event then. Main event was Cynthia Calvillo versus Jessica Ai, and Cynthia Calvillo won that by decision. So there you go.
Wow, fancy. I didn't watch it.
I didn't either.
But you know what I did watch this past weekend? Or not past weekend, but the past week. Tuesday and Thursday, boxing came back. Finally, to Top Rank Boxing. Now, I watch boxing all the time. I love it. But I primarily watch it on DAZN because Eddie Hearn is the man with money in his eyes. I swear I look at him and I just see dollar signs in his pupils. But that's what you do when you're a matchmaker. And he finally got the fight between Anthony Joshua. Why did I say Joshua weirdly? Anthony Joshua and Tyson Fury to happen. It's going to happen in 2021, and it's a 2-fight agreement.
Yep.
And this sparked a huge outrage on social media because Tyson Fury still has the third Deontay Wilder fight.
Right.
This year.
Yep.
It was supposed to happen July 17th, but they're pushing it back, and it's talked to be December 19th.
That fight is actually in jeopardy from happening at all.
Really?
Yeah. So that
Really?
came out
Why?
today.
Oh, I didn't see this. Why?
There's talk of illegal organizations being involved with the scheduling of those fights. That are putting that just that fight is very, very
sketchy. Okay.
Iffy. To the point where
Yeah.
the Irish Prime Minister came out and straight up told people do not support this fight.
What?
Yeah.
Where was this news? I didn't see any of this.
Yep.
Whoa, that's massive.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, still, if that fight happens, which now it doesn't seem like it will, Tyson Fury has to defend his title through that fight, and then he has to be Anthony Joshua at least once to be the undisputed heavyweight champion.
Right.
But there's another but here. Anthony Joshua has another fight as well, coming up I think later this year. I forget who it's against, but he's also trying to defend his title. And if he loses that title, Tyson Fury has no shot at being the undisputed world champion until he fights whoever Anthony Joshua loses to.
Right.
If that happens. But say Anthony Joshua does defend his title in that fight. He has 2 fights against Tyson Fury. And Tyson Fury or Anthony Joshua could become an undisputed heavyweight world champion. The fact that we might see one of those, heavyweight undisputed champion, in 2021, next year, that makes me happy.
Yeah, so the promotions, I pulled up the article that I was looking at. The promoters are not looking forward to this fight or to a Fury Wilder fight because they've already lost so much money in promoting the Tyson Fury and Deontay Wilder fights.
Weird.
Yeah.
That's really weird. Wait, who's promoting it?
It doesn't
Because
say
I know
specifically.
that Tyson Fury is on a contract with Top Rank. He's a Top Rank boxer. He fights on ESPN. And I know that Deontay Wilder is backed by Premier Boxing, so PBC, and he fights on Fox. So who has final say in promoting this?
I'm not sure. But I know that the promoters,
I need to look into that.
Yeah, I know that the promoters aren't happy. And it was a matchmaker controversy that also came out.
Weird. It was probably between Fox and ESPN then.
Yeah, I'm not sure.
Which takes us even to a whole other level.
Yep. So
of maybe what could happen in years to come.
Here,
with
let me just read
2
this.
boxers fighting.
Let me just read these
for
2
different
paragraphs
promoters.
real quick. So this is from
Okay.
the Telegraph UK.
Okay.
BT Sport is under pressure not to show Tyson Fury's rematch with Deontay Wilder following claims the alleged crime lord who helped broker a deal for him to fight Anthony Joshua also had a role in those struck for his trilogy of meetings with the American. Following Irish Premier Leo Varadkar's call for a sporting and media boycott of Joshua Fury over Daniel Kinahan's involvement in the proposed two-fight showdown, Telegraph Sport has been told the alleged kingpin negotiated the Gypsy King's triumphant last fight with Wilder and the upcoming third installment. So that's what it is. It's the matchmaker. It's Daniel Kinahan is an Irish, essentially an alleged Irish crime lord.
Nice.
And he was the one who negotiated. Nice. He was the one that negotiated the Joshua fight, and apparently had a hand in negotiating the Wilder fight.
That's crazy.
Yeah.
Because Eddie Hearn was like, that's weird. I thought Eddie Hearn was just kind of like running the show for Anthony Joshua, but that's also mostly because I watched his own and I'm like tied into that whole world of boxing, right. So I'm only seeing one side of it.
Yep.
That's really, really interesting.
Yeah.
Wow. Speaking of Eddie Hearn, though, have you seen him talk about Fight Camp?
Mm-mm.
It's basically like Fight Island, but Fight Camp is a boxing ring and whole production thing in the dude's backyard.
Oh, jeez. Yo, Fight Island's ready to go.
I know! And it's in Abu Dhabi?
Something like that, yeah. That sounds about
right. Yeah, something like Dubai or something. One of Dubai's islands, man-made islands or whatever. And it's got an IKEA. It's got an IKEA on the island.
Yeah. But Fight Island's a thing.
That's ridiculous. I love it. I can't wait.
Yep. So
I want the Zone Boxing to get back, though.
And then Titan Games, Dwayne Johnson, that's still happening. They wrapped up the Central division this past week. I'm pretty sure they're starting on the Eastern division this upcoming Monday. My boy Joe Thomas got dethroned, but it's okay because it was by Matt Chen, I don't remember how to say his last name, who is a firefighter from Denver, 43-year-old firefighter from Denver.
Shout out Colorado.
Yep. So he took over and is now one of the 3 male finalists, and there are also 3 female finalists.
That's cool.
The Central Division has been decided, so yeah, we're starting up on the East, I believe, this upcoming week. Monday nights.
That's nice.
Monday nights. Dwayne Johnson is giving us some sort of competition.
This is the last point I want to talk about. This is the last point I want to talk about. If you're watching this on YouTube, because I know I said last week you should see our faces. Finally, I kind of messed up on that, and it took me a while to get that out. But it was just our logo with audio. This time, I think I've got everything under control, and if not, I'm probably gonna cry. But if you're watching this on YouTube and you can see our faces, I'm looking up at my TV that's above my 2 monitors that I have here, and I'm watching the race at Homestead, Miami, because there was a ton of weather delays. It was supposed to get going at 3:30. It's now 10 o'clock, and they have 86 laps to go. I'm just gonna give you a quick top 5 update. Hamlin, Blaney, Elliott, Reddick, Byron, top 5. I guess it's been a good race. Not many cautions other than weather. Other than that, Wednesday night was the Martinsville race. Martin Truex Jr. won. I don't remember the top 5 for that. There was a doubleheader Xfinity race today and yesterday. It was kind of crazy. The trucks raced yesterday. Lots of memes came out of that. But the big talk about today is mainly just the rain, because I don't know why they thought putting a Florida race in springtime would be good with the weather. We already struggle with Daytona in July, but they decided let's put Homestead, Miami, a racetrack at the very tip of Florida, in the spring
during hurricane season. Good.
Yeah, it's fine. It's fine. Just casual rain, but it's going on. 84 to go. They're making progress. This race will probably end soon, maybe, if rain holds out. But that's about it.
All right, well, thanks for listening, everybody. We are Everything But Net. We're found right now on Google Podcasts, Spotify, a whole bunch of other places. Those are the
Everywhere
main
you
ones
listen
right
to podcasts, really.
We're working on getting on Stitcher and Apple Podcasts. We're working on those. We'll hopefully be there soon. We're on YouTube. Yep. Channel name is Everything But Net. Make sure you're liking, subscribing, hitting that bell notification on there. Our social media, we're everywhere. Our Twitter is at EBN_podcast. We're also on TikTok.
Everything But Net was a little too long.
Yep, we're also on TikTok and Instagram at Everything But Net. If you have any other comments, you can email us at everythingbutnetpodcast@gmail.com. And,
or if you just want to have something shown in the show, you want to say something, you want to have it read, maybe if it's good enough, we will read it in the show at the beginning.
So make sure, you leave us any comments, leave us a review. Thanks for listening. We'll see you again next week. Till then, I've been Jake. That's been Tyler. And we'll talk to you guys
later.
Talk to you guys next week.